Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, we're going to talk about some questions and answers here on YouTube. And I like doing this because I think that when I do the questions and answers, other people who are either afraid to type in their question or for just some reason I might miss it, because we get over 200 to 300 questions per day. And I apologize if I missed it. But I want to help you with your credit. I want to help you with your debt. I want to help you with debt collector lawsuits. I want to do everything possible, but I can only do so much. And I do like to answer my own questions. I had uh, a staff member do it, but it's, it just didn't work. So I do my best on this. Um, Before I get started, I want to talk about an interview that I saw with Alex Hormozy, who is a very good business person. He made his first, I believe, his first winning business was helping gyms recruit people, and that was how he kind of got stuff going. Now he has a company where they go out and they are, working with huge multi-million dollar businesses. That's what he's doing now. But he had a conversation with Dave Ramsey. Everybody knows Dave Ramsey, right? And what caught my attention when I was listening to it, because I was, I'm a fan of Dave Ramsey. I just, we part ways on some things, but I'm a very good fan. I think that what he tries to do is to help people. And but Dave Ramsey stated in there that something that caught my attention, and I believe it's because of the direction that people are going right now with society, with our thinking, and also with what we see out there when it involves credit. Just in case you don't know about Dave Ramsey, he is not too big about worrying about your credit score. He is more about being debt free. And there was a time period where I went all in on debt free, and it was because of what I experienced in the 90s with my own credit and debt issue. And I didn't even really care about my credit. But there came a time that I needed to care about my credit, and I, took care of that. And the lessons that I learned from that period of time in my life, uh, it helped me with the credit repair shop, helped me with helping you. But I had also used to listen to Dave Ramsey, and he had talked about the debts, getting out of debt, being debt free. And I had followed his formula for getting out of debt. And I didn't actually do it exactly the way that he did it, but I kind of had a variation on it. And it worked. But there was certain things that I would run into that I knew that I needed to be able to utilize my credit and utilize debt to be able to get my companies to the next level. And now I admit that all of my companies are debt free. We don't take out loans on the business, but I do utilize credit to on month to month for my businesses. And this is not the channel to really talk about it in detail, but there are ways that you can do it. And what had caught my attention with what Dave had said is he said that uh, if he was to leave the company the way that it was set up, where they were approaching churches to make the money for for selling his programs, is that the company would not survive. Like it's just that, like, it's went down. And he kind of said it in a way of churches don't have it set up that way anymore or something. But I think that what's happened to Dave Ramsey, the same thing that happened with one of my other companies, is that people have changed. People, when you see people like me or you see other people out there, you see YouTube videos, which was not prevalent back when Dave Ramsey was moving his company through the churches, is that people didn't really have an understanding of how you utilize credit to build a business, utilize credit in a way to help you pay less for the same things that people pay more for that have bad credit. And the only way to have good credit is to have stuff that you're paying on. And so I think that the audience that Dave is quote unquote preaching to has came to a realization, and they are changing, and they're like, we have to have credit. We have to have credit cards. But we have to listen to Dave on the way that we use them, that we don't go into debt, just buying stuff. But you gotta have credit. And I used to be the one that said you don't even need credit cards. And trust me, I'm not the one that'll say you don't need credit cards. Now, you don't need to be blowing up and have hundreds of credit cards, or no one has hundreds, but you don't need to have, 10, 20 credit cards. You don't. But you do need to have a credit card, and you need to have good credit. And if your credit, it needs to be 750 or above. Because I'm just telling you, when your credit is 750 or above, opportunities will come to you to where you'll be able to utilize that credit in some sort of situation. Now, you need to evaluate that situation. Don't make a dumb decision, but you will actually be able to make money utilizing your credit. Now, this isn't the channel to get into that part, but I'm just here to tell you that stuff has changed. And sometimes stuff changes when you don't even really know it. It's like it changes, it's like it's boiling, and then all of a sudden it changed. Because for him to make that statement, it has really, must have really made a change in his business. Because with all of the preaching, with all of the debt, the borrower is a slave of the lender, and all of that stuff, the church knows that their followers are just not into following that path 100%. And Dave Ramsey, for his brand, he can't start talking about getting credit. He just can't, because it would just blow his whole brand out of the water. Because it was like we established this by not going into debt. And before I get into the questions, one of his students, I can't remember his name right now. I'll search it while I'm telling you what happened. Not one of his students, but one of his uh, the black guy that used to be on the show. I don't remember his name, but he was on the show. He separated from the company now, but he even stated that with what he's doing now, he doesn't tell people not to utilize credit to build a business, because he's seen that people can utilize credit to build a business. He just says that he chooses not to do it because he just knows that things have changed, and that could have been one of the disagreements that they might have had, other than some other stuff that was on the record that I won't even get into about why he left the company. So now let's get into some questions. And I want to say to everyone that y'all have some very good questions. And I'm going to start doing this more, because I think that the questions that people are asking, that it's a lot of you have these questions, and you just, it for me to go in here and answer these questions in a video, it really does a lot. It helps a lot more people get the answers that they're looking for. Um, so one of them here, I'm just going to speak quickly on this, because I made a short about paying your debt with a 1099 A form. It does not happen. And someone put a comment that Christopher Hauser said that it does work. And I was in contact communications. I don't even know if it was well, it's supposed to have been him. And no communications came back and no proof came back. I'll leave it at that. Uh, Someone stated that they were in court and the judge overlooked everything and gave a judgment to the debt collector. And if it's an original creditor, that can happen because the original creditor is going to have everything. But in both situations, what I see a lot in this here is that people don't put an affirmative defense in order. How will a judge over, how are you thinking that you're going to overcome a debt collector suing you if you don't have an affirmative defense? I've seen some of these websites out there. There's a big, huge website where people go to and they make their court summons response, and it's all about deny, 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 deny. I don't admit, I don't admit, I don't admit. Um, that's not gonna cut it. That's not gonna cut it. Here's the problem. Here's the problem, and this is the problem with AI also. Now, not to say that they won't fix it in the future, but here's the problem, and that's why I think that the human mind is like the most incredible computer in the universe. And I'm about to explain why. Some of the times in situations, what's going to matter most is how you say it. How you say it. So, have you ever had the situation where you were, say, you were talking to your girlfriend or boyfriend, and they said that the tone, well, why did you have to say it that way? Like the tone of your voice, like you just said it. You didn't mean like offend your girlfriend or boyfriend or your husband or wife. You just said it, but they took it a certain way. They took it a certain way. This is what I've learned from dealing with credit repair. This is what I've learned with dealing with debt collectors. This is what I learned from dealing with debt collectors for settlements. This is what I learned with dealing with clients. This is what I've learned with dealing with uh, court lawsuits. This is what I learned with dealing with people, is that the way that you say it, the way that you say something can be taken a certain way. And that means that when you set something up and you have only your words speaking for you, because most of the people who are going to court, and you are not going to go up there and act like Perry Mason. Some of you may not know who Perry Mason is, but maybe Law and Order for everybody that's a lot younger than me. You're not gonna get up there and go into court and be like, hey, I'm like this the plaintiff, blah blah blah. This lawsuit is no good. Here's the documents. None of this stuff should stand. Uh, this was fraudulent affidavits, and this I'm gonna quote this court case. You're not gonna do none of that stuff. You're not gonna do it. What you will do is, which is what most people do, is that you end up typing out your response. And really, the only thing you know to do, from what everybody talks about on, not everybody, but most people on YouTube talk about, or these websites that where you type in your stuff and they're supposed to magically produce this response to the court, is that it's just gonna be deny, 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 deny. It's not going to set up an affirmative defense that a judge is going to be able to read and be like, hey, this makes sense. That makes a person think. Just like when you say it the wrong way, that person thought a certain way. When you make an affirmative defense and you have it placed and you say it the right way, it makes other people think. It will even make the plaintiff attorney or the debt collection attorney think and say, we may not have enough to prove this case. We've had that happen. So if you are going through something like this and you are being sued, you need to have an affirmative defense that has information in there that will give you a chance of winning, and it needs to be said a certain way. And now you do not need to go into quoting cases. You are not an attorney, and it's not, if you quote a case, they're going to find another case to counteract that case. What you want to do is you want to go after their documents. If they submit to the court documents and they say, well, this is true, this is true, this is true. And you say, well, Your Honor, look, this document doesn't have this. This document doesn't prove that. And you say it the right way, how can you lose? Go to my website and look at all of the cases where we just post them up there. 28,000, 50,000, 10,000, 5,000. This is money that people didn't have to pay solely because they did it the right way. They said it the right way. Your case right now that you could be going through could be similar to what these people are going through, and because of the way you said it, made you lose. So that's my answer to that question right there. Uh, Here's another one here. Someone said, you don't, to my short about should you pay a debt collector? And they said, well, just file Chapter 7. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was just that easy. People who say just file Chapter 7, they usually don't have nothing to lose. And if a person doesn't have nothing to lose, you still have to go through a means test. Here's a situation that I see. People will have a pretty good job and they're just over leveraged. They have too many bills for the money that they have coming in. So if you go to court and you want to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, what they're going to do is they're going to do what's called a means test. So don't do it right now, but after this video, I want you to put on your notes. And if you're in a situation where you think you might want to file Chapter 7, go online and look at what they have for the means test and answer those questions. And you will see if you can file a Chapter 7. The reason why they changed that law in 2006 is because people were doing exactly what this individual is telling people to do, is that they were filing Chapter 7 and they were lying on the document. As a matter of fact, the attorney who represents you in a Chapter 7 has to actually sign an affidavit and swear that you're telling the truth on that means test document. So do you think that that attorney is going to sign off on that to lose their license or to be censured? Do you think that they're going to just let you come in there and lie about what your assets are, your cash in the bank, all of that stuff to file a Chapter 7? No, they're going to put you in a Chapter 13. And when you get into a Chapter 13, you better be making a damn good decision. Chapter 13 is just to protect your assets, and then you need to have a plan to get yourself out of that Chapter 13. That's why most people are in Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is very lucrative for attorneys. I was just had a meeting in my office with a real estate agent, and something that we're training now on is if you have a Chapter 13 and you want to sell a property that you have in a Chapter 13, there's a paperwork structure to pull the property out of the Chapter 13 so you can sell it. Because you can't sell it if it's in Chapter 13. You have to get the trustee to agree to it, and you have to get the attorney to agree to it. You got to have a buyer that's ready to purchase, and it has to be guaranteed to go through because they don't want to just pull it out. So it is just not that easy to just jump out of to go into Chapter 7. Here's another one here. Someone that stated that they're a senior, they're on Social Security, the interest rates on their credit card skyrocketed. That happened to a lot of people, and they're just like, how they can't survive, they can't pay their bills. What's gonna happen to them? And I stated that if you can't pay it and you can't survive, you need to pay your medication. You need to make sure you have a roof over your head. You're probably gonna have to let those credit cards go and figure out a plan to pay those off. Like close it, stop using it, and figure out a plan, even if you're paying off a little. I have an app coming out soon. I can't even talk about it right now because the the dang programmers that are working on it having some issues, but I wish I could could talk more about it because this app is going to actually would help someone in that situation with their debts. But this is what you got to do, and I've seen this happen. I have one right here from my other company. This is an employee from one of my other companies that is getting garnished. This is a notice of employee garnishment form. I have to take out from their pay 15% until that's paid. It's a small amount. It's only like a little over $400. But here's the piece of it that I want to get to you about that is that I've seen employee garnishments where once they got set and they just start paying on it and paying on it and paying on it, that they just go away, that the balance just goes away. If you can get into a situation where you don't have interest accruing anymore and you're just paying and paying and paying, it will go away. That is something that people do not understand. But the only way that that's going to happen is that that account has to be closed. The account has to be shut down, closed, and no more interest. It stops at that day, and you just start, you just start paying. That's the solution for that. Uh, Another person said, let's see here, that they had a loan. They're getting two bills from two different banks for the same item, and that they really aren't all auto loans, houses, and boats and motorcycles fraudulent, uncountersigned, with only one signature funded from the Federal Reserve within 45 days of signing. Isn't it already paid for? No, it's not already paid for. No, it's not already paid for, and you're not going to get something for nothing. You're not going to get something for nothing. This thought process is prevalent all over the internet. People are thinking that they're going to get something for nothing, and this is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get that stuff repossessed from you, and then you're going to be watching a video with someone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years later, and if you were to like go back in time, your situation didn't change. I'm here to tell you that people who try to get something for nothing will get absolutely nothing. We live in this society is more prevalent now where people want to get something for nothing, but I'm here to tell you that you will not get something for nothing. Um, One of the things that we get something for where you don't pay money for, but we seem to not even value it, is that we get our life, we get our body, we get our mind, we get the ability to make decisions in our life, we get the ability to learn things, to be with our friends, our family, loved ones, to be able to experience life, and we didn't pay anything for it, and we treat that like nothing. And so, but the reason why people treat the other stuff like cars, boats, houses, like the person put on here, because you pay something for it. You pay something for it. And so what you're in essence saying is that if you think in one side of your mind is thinking like what these other people are telling you, it's already paid for. Paid for by who? And they say the Federal Reserve paid for it. Just think about that. And so who paid the other people? So you're saying that the Federal Reserve paid the bank, and then the bank paid the people, and then the people gave you the stuff. So you don't even have to work anymore. You don't have to do anything. That's in essence what you're saying. In essence, that's what you are saying. Uh, let's look at another one. Let's have another one here. Um, Look at another one here. A lot of people think if I didn't say you're welcome, a lot of people said thank you, and I'm just saying welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for posting your comments because I really do appreciate that. Um, all right, I think I went through ones. A lot of them are repeats where people are asking the questions again from other people. There was one more here. What happens when you sue you and you need to, and when you get sued, when they sue you and you need to answer? That's again, that answer is that you need an affirmative defense against the allegations they have on the complaint or summons. That's what you need. All right. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my two-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website yourthenumber3scores.com. Grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all three scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, debt validation, cease and desist, collection activities letter. Use the one that's appropriate for you. Instructions are on there. Again, just in case you didn't know, if a debt is past legal statute of limitations to collect, you do not have to do a debt validation. You do not, it is not talking about the debt at all. I do ask for a donation when you get those. It helps me monetize my time here on making these videos for you. It can literally save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you could stop debt collection companies who are coming after you early. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.